Time for a rock talk. Family. Most of us have one. Not all. I'm something of an orphan. I was adopted at 6 months old. Raised by one of those couples that tried to save their marriage with a baby. Didn't work. My dad, the guy of that relationship that was in on the adoption situation, was the one that ended up raising me. The mom, she basically hit the road. My dad was an alcoholic, abusive dickhead, so probably a salient choice. She didn't give me much thought. She was very self-centered. Maybe she was damaged in the relationship, but looking at her bloodline, which I only know through one daughter, I think she was just a self-centered bitch. She's still out there somewhere, I hear, and I've heard she's asked about me. Well, I've never caught wind of her looking for me, because if she would, she'd find me, because I've lived in the same town my whole life. I mean, even in a place where there are a few million people, like, when you've lived in the same town your whole life, you can ask around. Somebody will know. You know, like, my dad doesn't talk to me no more. That's a whole other thing. So that happened. I did meet my biological mother when I was like 20, I think. We hung out for all of about a month, and then I went my separate way, and then she basically abandoned me all over again, because that's what women do in my life. I'm sure there are plenty of women on this earth that would never abandon their family. Matter of fact, there's a lot of women that are so enabling and nesting that they just allow their children to walk all over them and facilitate them and just turn them into absolute shit human beings. So maybe I dodged a bullet not having a mom in my life, because everybody I know that was predominantly raised by their mother is basically an entitled piece of shit. There's probably exceptions to that, you know, and if you feel called out, well, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe I just didn't know that about you, and honestly, like, while it's not directed at you, because it's not directed at you, I just really don't give a shit how it makes you feel. This isn't about you. This is my video. It's my rant. I can do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want, because nobody gives a shit whether I live or die. And one of the greatest privileges of nobody giving a shit about you is that you are completely untethered, and you can just whip it out and just pee in any direction that pleases you. And that's what I'm doing today. So family. There's the origins of my situation. I've met people. I have not met my biological father. I've met biological sisters that I had through my biological mom. I've met my stepsister, who is like the daughter of the woman who adopted me with my dad. She's kind of like her mom. Very self-centric, self-aggrandizing, absolutely 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. She's older than, you know, me, because, you know, she came before I came, you know, into the world. And she's one of those tired, aggravating people that anybody who's like a day younger than her, she tells to grow up, because, you know, she's doing so great for herself. Every time I've ever ran into her, she's like living under the graces of somebody else. I've done plenty of that myself, so I'm not going to principally judge somebody for living by the grace of someone else, i.e. under somebody else's roof. Like I said, I've done plenty of it. The difference between me and her and a lot of other people is that I haven't always lived under somebody else's roof. There have been numerous times, just like right now, where I am completely homeless, and there's nobody that gives a shit is coming to bail me out. Unlike people that I've talked to that have quote-unquote slept in their car, but had family, and whenever they had their fill, they could just go home and sleep on mom and dad's couch. There's nobody to bail me out. There is not one human being on this planet that'll give me a place to stay tonight. My life depended on it. Now, I know a lot of you people are out there in this town are acquaintances of mine, and you guys wish me well, and I wish you well. And honestly, I'm not asking, but if I did, I guarantee you wouldn't have it. You would not do it. You wouldn't offer it. That doesn't make you less in any way. It doesn't make you a piece of shit. It doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you not good. It's natural. I'm not part of your tribe. I'm nobody's tribe. I belong to nobody, and nobody is kin to me, and I am kin to no one. It doesn't make sense for you to have a complete essential stranger in your space. And that's what I am to you, aren't I? Well, at least you're nice to me, and for that, you're pretty awesome. All of you are. Like, 'cause like I said, a lot of you are like really great to me. You're very polite. You ask after me, like how I'm doing. You are very considerate and courteous. You hang out with me when we meet in public, and you don't blow me off. So I think a lot of you are really cool. So I don't really have a bone to pick with you. And actually, after the life I've had, I really don't have any expectations from people. But, here's the thing. All these people talking like they know where I'm coming from and they know what I'm going through. They don't. They do not. Not one of you know what I'm going through, because all of you, to the last one, have had some kind of escape hatch, some kind of get out of jail free card. I don't. We're not the same. If you have family, that's good. Family is important. And I am huge on promoting the nuclear family. I think it's the salvation of the West and what makes us the superior culture in the world as compared to places like third world shitholes, such as the entire continent of Africa, for example. The nuclear family. Because when you have a family and you don't rely on your government, you don't need to pay into Social Security. Your grandchildren will change your diaper when you're too old to make it to the bathroom. Your kids will pay for a roof over your head and a nurse to administer your medicines to keep you comfortable until you die of old age. That's retirement. You don't have welfare because that uncle that's indigent and just can't seem to get his shit together would come to dinner every night, and then he'd go on his way after he'd eaten. So he's not going to miss a meal. He's not going to starve to death. He doesn't need food stamps. He needs a family. If you guys had family to take care of each other, you wouldn't need the government. Well, I'm out here making do not very well, because you know what? I'm a brain damaged, semi-autistic retard with really bad luck and a non-existent care structure. I was raised by abusive people that really didn't want the job and solely fucking adopted me for the attempt to save a relationship that was doomed from the get-go. I never had a family. That's okay too. That happens. That's kind of like the orphan thing. At least I wasn't shifted around between a shitload of foster parents. I hear that's worse. So for that, I count myself lucky. I have a fair bit of resentment for the people that failed me, as anyone would. It's not personal, like in the sense that I resent them solely because of who they are. I resent them specifically because of what they've done. And I don't feel that I'm going to change on that. I've tried to look past it. I've tried to buy into this goopy horse shit, this new age nonsense of letting go and this, that, and the other. It's not built into human nature to do that. Humans are like elephants. We don't forget that shit. You come and take from me and do me dirty. I'm not just going to develop amnesia and tomorrow give you a big old hug. It doesn't happen. Stab me in the back, and if I survive, I'm going to pull that knife out and stab you to death. That's human nature. It's not out of bitterness or unnecessary darkness or anything like that. Anger is healthy. Aggression is healthy. A tendency to trade one missing eye for the missing eye in the person that took yours is completely healthy. All right. A lot of primitive cultures like Islam actually have that right, insofar that is not an unreasonable response to those types of situations. So if you're listening to this and you have family in your life, I'm going to give you one piece of salient advice from somebody who has fuck all nothing going for them. I have nothing. I have no way to prove that I'm worth anything to anyone. I have no accomplishments. I have no trophies. I have no prizes. I have no real victories other than continuing to manage to pay my bills and not starve to death. I'm here to give you this one piece of advice today based on family. If you have one, you'd better treat each other good. Because if you ever get to the place where you find darkness like I have, it's not going to go well for you. And I don't think a lot of you have the constitution and the general wherewithal to keep yourself glued together when it's all just turning to shit around you. I don't think you have it in you to do what I do on a daily basis and to live the way that I've had to live. I don't think you have it in you to go through what I've gone through, things that you would never imagine that I've gone through. You wouldn't think it. You'd think, oh, I'm just, moping or whatever. You don't know. I'm not going to tell you, because you know what? It doesn't matter what I've been through. I'm not collecting my victimization and my failures as some kind of sick chest full of medals to get accolades and recognition. I don't suffer what I've suffered just so people will treat me better. I suffered what I suffered because I had no other choice in the matter. Because if I had to choose, I wouldn't have fucking chose to suffer. All right? And any of you people, trying to cash in on mental illness, this, that, and the other. Oh, I got multiple personalities. I got Tourette's and all these TikTok fruitcakes, all this faggotry. Let me tell you something. You disgust me. You're a piece of shit, and you're obviously faking it. Because if you weren't faking it, the last thing you'd try and be doing is present it to the world. You think I'm proud of my brain damage? You think I'm proud of my inability to do simple paperwork and to make things work out for myself? Do you think I'm happy that I'm sleeping in a fucking car and I got nobody that cares whether I live or die? No. I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to make the best of it, but I'm not happy about it, and I'm not choosing it, and I would never choose it. And if I could do it all over again, I'd do every last thing that I've ever done completely different, just so the way I got fucked in life would be different than the way I got fucked this time around. Because I got fucked. And it's not awesome, and it's not... Telling you that I got fucked is not going to do anything to benefit me. I'm just telling you right now, you'd better take better care of your family, because if your family's a piece of shit like mine and they get what they have coming, and they will, not from me, because I'm not the arbiter of justice and fairness, although I do believe in higher powers, and trust me, you don't treat people like people treated me and have a fucking happy ending. The people that fucked me over aren't going to have a happy ending, and most of them are already suffering. Not from anything that I did in response, but because when you treat people the way they treated me, I'm not the only people they treat that way, and it always comes back to bite them in the ass. They always pick on the wrong one, and then that's where they end up. All fucked up. Don't pick on the wrong one. Don't pick on anyone. Love each other. Be good to each other. Have a little fucking regard for people that aren't doing well, and help people out. Because otherwise you get angry fucks like me. And if the world's full of people like me, you're not going to like the outcome. Because then if there's nothing but people like me, who's going to stop people like me from fucking your day up? The only thing stopping people like me from fucking your day up is because there's not enough people like me to have my way. Something to think about.